Last night I dreamt I went to Mandalay again. It seemed to me I stood by the iron gate leading to the drive, and for a while I could not enter, for the way was barred to me. There was a padlock and chain upon the gate. I called in my dream to the lodge-keeper, and had no answer, and peering closer through the rusted spokes of the gate, I saw that the lodge was uninhabited. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Book Bakht channel. I'm Bakhtawar, your friendly neighborhood Pakistani booktuber. And today we're discussing Rebecca by Daphne Du Maurier, published in 1938. I love this cover. This is the newer edition. It's so beautiful. In my head, I have this concept of, really cozy reads. Something, that you read with a cup of tea by the fire in some vaguely Victorian setting. And there's, a bit of suspense and mystery, maybe a little bit of murder. I mean, that's what's cozy to me anyway. I mean, maybe there's something wrong with my imagination. But yeah, so Rebecca is all these sentiments and more, and that's why I wanted to do a video on it. So Rebecca is a story of this unnamed narrator, this young girl in her 20s who marries the obscenely rich aristocrat called, what's his name? Maxim de Winter. And they go to Mandalay, which is this fellow's estate, and that's where all the fear and paranoia begins. So Maxim de Winter had been married once before to this really alluring and beautiful woman named Rebecca, who died under mysterious circumstances by drowning near the mansion. And there's also this creepy housekeeper, Mrs. Danvers, who actually, funnily enough, in the years since, has become a bit of a pop culture symbol actually. People are like, oh, don't be like Mrs. Danvers or something like that. So anyway, the new Mrs. De Winters, the young girl, she becomes obsessed with the notion that her husband's supposedly dead wife permeates the mansion and kind of is one with it. The mansion and the woman are one, and she permeates every possession, the grounds. It feels as if her spirit and influence are upon all things, and also upon Maxim himself. And Mrs. Danvers, the housekeeper, who was also the housekeeper during the reign of the previous wife, sort of encourages these notions and kind of encourages the young woman to lose her mind and, kill herself. So she's very psychologically manipulative, but no spoilers. So the novel is very true to sort of more traditional Gothic elements, the unequal balance of power in which there's, usually a man or a man-like character who exercises a great deal of power over the woman's self-esteem and survival. Of course, in many Gothic novels, there was also a woman that did the same thing. And then there's always the omnipresent being, or terror, nameless terror, that has the power to take something valuable away from you, as in this case, the ex-wife. Obviously, the being is meant to be dead, is supposedly dead, but not really. That actually reminds me a lot of The Fall of the House of Usher, this short story by Edgar Allan Poe. It was chilling. I think I should do a separate video on that one. It's very short, you can even read it online. And many literary buffs will already know this, but in the decades since its publication, I mean, it's been nearly, 80 plus years, there's been a lot of comparison between Rebecca and the significantly older and more sophisticated Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, which is perhaps the Gothic novel of all time. I mean, in my opinion, obviously there are many more, and I did like Wuthering Heights a lot more than Jane Eyre. Somebody stole my Wuthering Heights, I'm still very unhappy about that. This one is very old. It's all marked up from my ancient literature class and it's falling apart, but I'm not going to throw it away. So anyway, there's been a lot of comparison between Jane Eyre and Rebecca. You have the titular character having the same esteem issues, again being haunted by the mansion and the vast expanse of space, haunted by the husband's past, the same thing. Although in Jane Eyre, obviously, the terror is real because the woman who's supposed to actually not exist at all is actually alive. And Rebecca does form a sort of a happy middle ground, I think, because it's old enough to give that sort of authentic feel and kind of transport you to a different place, but it's not so old as Wuthering Heights, because Wuthering Heights, whenever I've recommended it sort of to people, it's been difficult for them to get through it, because obviously a lot of words are they're not used anymore, they're not common, and then it is a very difficult novel to read. And in fact, not just now. When Wuthering Heights came out, it actually was quite unpopular for a long time, maybe even decades, and then it had a kind of slow revival. It was almost like a sleeper hit actually. So yeah, definitely give Rebecca a read. It's elegant, it's beautiful, it's frightening, It's, you know, a complete beautiful psychological thriller. I love it, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Please recommend to friends and family if you think you know, they watch similar content to this, and please take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.